Hello everybody, Kyle here. I haven't done a video in a while. I kind of left off, I think, on a She-Hulk review, and I haven't come back since. Apologize for that. I've been doing some other things, one of them being I've been working with my friend David on a podcast. I'll leave the link below. It's another YouTube channel called Real Talks that we've been working on, and I've been working on other podcasts and other forms. But I thought I'd come here today to give a review of Avatar: The Way of Water because it was my most anticipated film of the year, and it, I think, deserves a review. I might go back and do a review for maybe a Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, even an Andor, but right now we're going to talk about The Way of Water. And The Way of Water, I have to say, was a movie that did not disappoint. It's a film that I have been waiting for 13 years, like many other people have been waiting for 13 years for this movie. And I was a little nervous on how they would handle some of the characters in the film, especially since it looked like the film would focus more so on the children of Jake Sully and Neytiri. I think that they did a pretty good job at working with all the characters. I think off the bat, I will say that Neytiri is the one character I think I would have liked to see a little bit more of in the movie. Given how substantial her role was in the first film, it kind of felt like she was kind of given a back seat in this film for the arc of the children. Um, that being said, though, the final act of this movie, which is my favorite act of the film, is when Neytiri fully, comes into her own and is the character that I've been waiting to see again since back in 2009 when I saw the first Avatar. Um, I think that the greatest strength of this film are the children, because the children are all new characters. You have 5 of them if you include Spider, and they're all given pretty substantial roles. The little sister Tuck, she is kind of the least amount um of role in the movie that she has to play with, but even her character, she isn't just forgotten about. She has a role to play, and she actually has some funny lines that I think are quite genuine, and they add to the levity and humor of the film, which is quite, I would say, brief compared to, say, an MCU movie, where they have more jokes in those films. Here, a lot of the humor feels less forced and more genuine. Um, I have to say, though, like, the two standouts are Loak, um, and Kiri. And Kiri is played by Sigourney Weaver. What's really interesting is that you have a nearly 70-year-old actress playing a 14-year-old girl. Now, at times she kind of feels like she's older than 14, but I do wonder if that has to do with the idea of this character, where she is kind of, in a sense, a um an anomaly. Like, her birth is something that no one understands in the movie. They don't know how she came into being. And I think that might have to do with why she is seemingly a little bit older looking in the film, and also her voice, which at first I'm trying to figure out if it's a criticism that I find her voice to sound a little bit older than she should sound, but I do wonder if that's also an effect of her birth. And regardless, Sigourney Weaver plays this part to perfection. She embodies the role of a teenage girl, and there are movements that she does that you would think only a teenage girl could do, let alone a 60-plus-year-old woman. And I really was impressed at the movement Sigourney did parkour to prepare for this role, and just the way that she performs the role, because there are many um, nuances to Kiri that are really, really something that you would think a teenage girl would do. Um, but Loak is the son of Jake and Neytiri, and he is given really, I think, one of the main roles of the film, and he has this relationship with this whale-like creature known as a Tolkien that is called Peakan, and he in this whale creature, they both have this bond that really tugs at the heartstrings. And as all James Cameron movies do, they look at society in a way that, especially the first Avatar, how is our world impacting, or how are the people in our world impacting our world? And he, instead of looking at the rainforests, the Sully family moves to the shores of Pandora, the reef tribe known as the Metacana tribe, and you get to see how the world is affecting, or the people of the world are affecting the ocean life of Pandora. And it's very similar to what's going on today, but there's this one sequence with a whale creature, one of the Tolkien, that they are attacking this creature, and it's just painful to watch. And it's very similar to the scene in the first Avatar with Home Tree being destroyed, but the difference is that the fact that this is a sentient being, you are even more devastated by what's happening. And they really do a great job at expanding the world of Pandora, expanding the world of Avatar, and you get to see what the people on the other side of the world look like with a different skin color. And James Cameron has stated how in Star Wars, George Lucas gave every planet a different biome and different look. But here we have basically Pandora is serving as another Earth, and it's really cool to see a planet, or in this case a moon, because that's what Pandora actually is, really fleshed out to look like Earth, and to see how there are different environments where you move along Pandora. And you even get to see really how different tribes live under different circumstances. One of my favorite scenes in this movie is when they are going underwater and you just see the ocean life of Pandora. And then they're saying how you have to breathe underwater, and there's this spirituality to the breathing. And the characters that they meet at one of the actresses, Bailey Bass, she plays the character of Soraya, who is Loak's kind of girlfriend character, and she is really good. And I really love how like she teaches Loak to breathe. And there's so many elements to Avatar with the VFX in Way of Water, because I think the story is really good in The Way of Water. There's some interesting things they actually do with Quaritch from the first film. He returns. I won't tell you how, but he returns, and they kind of go for more of a Westworld-like approach to his character. You get to see, I think, James Cameron playing with some elements of his other movies, like The Abyss, like Titanic, and how he plays with sinking ships and fights underwater. There's a action sequence in the movie near the end where two characters are fighting underwater, and it's, I mean, I don't like comparing movies, but like it trumps whatever we saw in Aquaman, because you actually feel it. And I think the thing about this movie is you feel this film. You feel the stakes, you feel the characters bond. You actually are legitimately terrified if they are not going to make it out alive. Yes, some characters return from the first film, but they're not the same character. And that's what I also love. The deaths of the first Avatar are not erased. They are still important, and they are still permanent. A character may be in this movie, but they are not the same character. They might be played by the same actor, but they have a very different character in this, and it makes me feel like when I'm watching this movie that anyone can die, and when they die, it doesn't mean that they will come back. And there are so many scenes in this movie, especially the last act, where I was at like the edge of my seat, just terrified whether one of the main characters was going to live or die, because anything is possible. And knowing that there are 3 more movies after this, and they better make 3 more movies after this, because we didn't wait 13 years just for them to, cancel the rest of the series. But to know that there are 3 movies after this, I'm just so excited to see where they go with the story, because I think every character in here has an interesting arc that will be explored in a future movie. Yes, they do leave some cliffhangers and such to build onto future movies, but it's its own story, and this film ends on its own terms, like it's its own movie, and the ending is just so moving. And as I said before, the VFX are some of the best VFX we've ever seen. They go underwater, and we've never seen performance capture done like this before. Um, and then the music, too, is also really moving. Personally, I will say that I prefer the first Avatar. For me, like, it's one of my favorite films of all time, and it's a really high bar to meet. There's like a magic to that movie, and there's a magic to this film too, but like there's a magic to that first movie, which also I think has to do with the fact that I was 10 years old when I saw it, that it's something that is very hard to replicate. And a lot of people that have those childhood movies, um it's really hard to, beat those. But this movie does a great job at trying to match up to the first film, because a lot of times sequels do not match up to the first film and tend to be quite bad. This is nowhere near that. This film, to many, is even better than the first. I like the first movie more. I like more of the relationship between Jake and Neytiri in the first film. But here, we do get a different movie in my mind. And the stuff with the kids is really refreshing to see. We've never quite seen a, 5 child family in this big blockbuster in a movie before. It's been done in like Game of Thrones and TV shows, but the amount of people in this movie, it's actually, I'm actually shocked at how well they were able to utilize all of them. But yeah, like I thought, for me, I think it might be my favorite film of the year, and I would love to know what you all think about it. Thanks for watching this video, and please like and subscribe if you haven't already. Take care, guys. Have a great day. Bye.